Jananim Sharadam Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. Dear devotees, so now we'll be discussing the 11th verse. Before getting into it, I was thinking today, one or two points, the basic Advaita Vedanta's thinking or the approach towards the truth has to be made clear once more. If you once, Swami Turiyananji, as a young novice, he was busy in studying scriptures. And he didn't have so much time even to come and see his guru like Sri Ramakrishna. He was immersed in studying scriptures. Once Sri Ramakrishna sent a word through some other devotees. Then Swami Turiyananji, he comes and he meets Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna asks, my dear boy, I didn't see you for a long time. What is the matter? Swami Turiyananji said, oh, my dear sir, I was busy in studying scriptures, Advaita Vedantic scriptures, so sorry, I couldn't come. Sri Ramakrishna said, that's fine, interesting, good. What your Advaita Vedantic scriptures are saying? The whole gist is what? The self or the Brahman is the alone is real and the world is appearance or illusion. Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. Jiva Brahma Yuvanapara. And there is essentially, there is no difference between the Supreme Self and the individual self. So this is what the whole essence or the purport of Advaita Vedanta are the scriptures, isn't it? So when Sri Ramakrishna told to Swami Turiyananji, he was so amazed. I was so much engrossed in studying scriptures and knowing all their things, but Sri Ramakrishna in a simplified way, in a sentence, the whole essence of Advaita Vedanta, he kept in front of me. He was so happy and he was, moved actually. And he understood that I should come more to Sri Ramakrishna so that I can understand and I can really know what is Advaita Vedanta or what is the essence of Advaita Vedanta. So this is the final dictum actually. Now it has to be experienced. It has to be made our part and parcel of the life. Though, however, we wish, but because of our samskaras, because of our wrong thinking, because of the desires, because of our own limitations, we are not able to do. So Advaita Vedanta says that then the 4 prerequisites have the sadhana chatushtaya and start studying, thinking, discussing the Advaita Vedantic philosophy or the basic tenets or the ideas according to Advaita philosophy. By that, what happens? The misconception, the wrong understanding will be cleared. So what is the misconception or what are wrong understanding? The world is true, the world is real. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. The second is, I am body, I am mind, I am thought, I am emotion, I am feelings, I am so-and-so. All my upadhis, all my so-called in biodata, we give that my strength and weakness, I've done this, I did this, I've done that, I can do this. All these things are upadhis which are limiting adjuncts. Actually, they are limiting adjuncts, but unfortunately, we are thinking that they are real and they are my strength. So Advaita Vedanta laughs at this and he says, look, none of these things belongs to you. Rather, you are the self. You are the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, and you are beyond all these things. And that is the only one reality. Advaita, non-duality, not two. Because if I say that there's only one, that means if I have to say one, there can be two, there can be three, there can be three and more. So Advaita Vedanta says that there are no two. There are no two means it is not that there can be three or four or five. No, there are no two means it is only one. What is that one? That is what self you call, Atman you call, Brahman you call, Sachidananda you call, whatever names, different names you give, but there is the only one reality. And now that is our reality, that is our nature. Now, what is obstructing that? That we are already that. What is obstructing that? It is only ignorance. Just like there's a beautiful sun, but the thick clouds are covering the sun. So similarly, our knowledge, our understanding has been clouded, has been covered by thick patch of ignorance. So all our struggle is to remove the ignorance, to remove that wrong understanding. Now, how this wrong understanding or the ignorance can be removed, can be rectified, if you ask, according to Advaita Vedanta, that is through knowledge. Just like how the darkness can be removed or destroyed by bringing light. So similarly, the ignorance, the wrong understanding can be rectified by right understanding or by the knowledge. The knowledge of what? Knowledge of self. It is not knowledge of the world, knowledge of the ocean, knowledge of the animals, reptiles. No, it is knowledge of oneself. So all our Vedantic scriptures are trying to explain what is that knowledge of the self. Now, the bigger challenge comes to the philosophers and the rishis that, okay, the knowledge is simple, that I am that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, or Tattvamasi, you are that self, you are that Brahman. The answer is straightforward, simple, but how much ever it is so simple, but we are not able to understand. We are not able to comprehend. More than that, okay, I am the self, fine. How it is, how it looks like. Because of my mind, I always think in the name through Nama and Rupa, that is name and form. So Brahman, okay, you said that, the name we got it, how it looks like. We try to objectify it, the concept of Brahman or the word Brahman when we hear. That's one thing. Second thing we say, oh, it is not the object, it is the subject, and it is yourself, it is pure existence, pure awareness, and pure bliss. Yeah, something, it is very hazy and it goes above the head. More than that, fine, but we are seeing this world, mundane world, external world. It looks so truthful. And it is so, this empirical world is so palpatably we are experiencing, then what about it? And there are so many, the truth is only one, you are saying that there are so many human beings, reptiles, mammals, birds, so many things. What about them? So this question comes to a seeker. Now the philosophy has to answer all these three things. That's why these so many texts have come into picture. Now every text takes one particular approach to know the truth. So they tell, who am I? What is this world? And who is the creator? And what are the three links? I mean, what are the links or connection between all the three? That's all. So now in this Drik Drishya Viveka, the discernment or discrimination between the seer and the seen, the author has taken a particular approach that he is telling that the human being consists of, or I consists of three components, three seers. Seer number one, my sense organs. Seer number two, mind. Seer number three, that is called Sakshi or Chaitanya. Now, why this approach has been taken by the teacher? Because he is trying to teach the absolute truth by known things slowly to take us into unknown thing. The self is so subtle, many times we are unable to understand, we are unable to comprehend. Then what they do, from grass, they start explaining. What is grass? We say like experience, the world which we experience. Then they start explaining, fine. Then they go to subtle, which is called mind and other things. Subtle body, mind, antakarana, all these things. Then slowly, they go to the subtlest thing that is called self. And after explaining the self, they say that till now, whatever you heard, everything is, you are not that, and that is appearance. Only you are that. That is the self. That is your real nature. That is you. Then the question may come, Arey, why did you waste my time? Why did you waste your time? You could have said directly that. You could have explained me what is my real nature and who am I. Then the author laughs. Yes, my dear, I could have done that, but I was not sure. Or rather, I had my own doubt that you will not be able to comprehend. You will not be able to understand the subtlest truth. So I had to prepare your mind so that from gross truth, I started explaining, then I came to subtle, then subtler, then subtlest, which is called self, and which is my reality. So seer number 1, sense organs he explained. Seer number 2, mind he explained. Seer number 3, that is self or Sakshi or Chaitanya, he explained. After explaining in the first 5 slokas, from 6th to 12 or 13, 12 I think, the formation of these 3 seers is explaining. Now, in the 11th verse, the author is trying to explain that we experience dreams. Every one of us, we have got dream experience. But the dream state is unreal, we all know that. Because when we come to waking state, we know that dream is unreal. Whether I was a beggar, whether I was a president of the India, whether I was a millionaire, whatever say, or celebrity, that doesn't have any value because it is not real. It was mere imagination of my mind. Fine. When did you understand? After coming to waking state. But in dream state, did you understand? No. So similarly, the author wants us to understand that even the so-called waking state is also a long dream, big dream. But still when we hear, we can't understand and comprehend. Why? Because we are trying to understand the waking state is also a dream, staying in the waking state. We understood the dream state is unreal when we came to waking state, but unfortunately we are staying in the waking state, so-called, and we are trying to negate, or we are trying to understand the waking state is also a long dream. So intellectually we understand, no doubt, but once we experience the self or Turiya, which Mandukya Upanishad says, then for us, we can understand and comprehend even the so-called waking state or the waking world or the external world is also an appearance. So here the author is trying to tell how this waking state and the dream state of experiences both are just nothing but it is mental experience. It is just a mental phenomena. Actually, in the sense it is subjective rather more than objective. How it is in the 11th verse, author is trying to tell, let us try to understand. Antahkarana vrittischa chitichayaikkya magata vasanaha kalpayet swapna bodhaik shikshipa yan bahi. The inner organ, that is mind, which is itself but a modification, identifying itself with the reflection of consciousness, imagines various ideas in the dream. And the same organ, similarly, identifying itself with the body, imagines objects external to itself in the waking state with respect to the sense organs. So now the author is telling that what happens in the dream. I was in deep sleep, and sometime, maybe in the early morning, I got a dream. In a dream, I have become a millionaire. Fine. So I have got a big house. Few, maybe 20 rooms are there. And I have got a lot of cash, lot of bank balance. Fine. I am wearing one of the costliest dress, and I am driving in a Tesla's car. Tesla's electric car, say for an example. And my wife is also happy. I've got a good children, and I've got a big company. There are so many people. And because I'm a millionaire now, I had my own jet also. With the help of the jet, I went to US, I went to Singapore, I went to Maldives, and I saw so many things there and came back. And I came back and I was entering my house. Suddenly, alarm rang and my sleep broke. I got up. When I get up, before going to bed, whomever I was so-called in this external world, same person I am. There is no change in me actually. But in the dream, I was a millionaire and I went to the different parts of the world, different countries, and so many experiences. Now, when you make a dream analysis, so you were the millionaire, fine. You went to different countries, fine. You went to different hotels, fine. And you met so many people, fine. So the experiencer, the experienced, and the act of experience or experiencing, all these three role was taken by mind alone. For example, in the waking state, we all go to Kashi. We have got a Kashi Vishwanath Darshan. We have a holy dip in the Ganges and all. So we are all aware that we are seeing the Kashi Vishwanath, we are seeing the Ganges, we are experiencing that holy bath, holy dip, all these things. So body, mind, people, everything is there involved. But if you see in the dream, the mind is taking the role of the experiencer. The mind is taking the form of different objects. The mind has taken even the role of experiencing ice cream, experiencing traveling in the Tesla car or traveling in the flight or whatever. So experiencer, experiencing, experienced, all these three roles has been taken by only one entity, which is my mind. Because this physical body is under rest, senses are under rest. I'm not aware of it actually, in a way, but a dream. But when I got up, when I woke up, when I come to waking state, then I understand this dream state doesn't have any value. Because the Tesla car, which I saw in the dream, now where to find? If you find in the whole world, you can't find. This is a matter of experience for all of us. We all know that. Now, what happens in the present state or in the waking state? The Sakshi has been reflected in the reflecting medium called mind. So when there is a reflection in the medium called mind, what happens? Then there is a reflection of the image. That is called reflected consciousness. Chidabhasa. Whoever knows Hindi and Sanskrit, you will be able to understand. हिंदी में बोलता है ओ चिदाभासा मतलब क्या है? चित्त का आभास. Chit ka abhas. Abhas means it is not real. It is an appearance or whatever. So chit ka abhas. Chit means what again? Atman. Sat Chit Ananda. Chit ka abhas. Chidabhas. It is a just very, what do you say, slang way telling. So Chidabhasa is what? It is a reflection of the consciousness. Now, the author is trying to tell this. The mind is called reflecting medium. And mind has got two parts. One is Dravyamsha and the other is Vrittiyamsha. The mind, it is a content portion and it has got a thought portion. So this mind and this thought portion, both are part of the subtle body. All our knowledge, experience, everything is happening, whatever, it is because of the mind. And this mind is also part of the subtle body. And the subtle body is part of what? 5 elements. That means what? Mind, thought, subtle body, they are all inert in nature. They are insentient in nature. But our experience says thoughts are most powerful. Mind is so powerful. Mind is hyperactive. To control itself, it is too much. Just like there is an example in the northern part of India. There is a heavy rain. In Himachal Pradesh, there was a cloud burst. There is a huge amount of water gushing through. So buildings has been collapsed, buildings has been washed out, vehicles have been washed out, people have been washed out. Because there's a tremendous force for this water current. And there's not a small amount of water. It is a huge amount of water also. So it has got a force, it has got a life probably. So similarly, when our thoughts, we have got our mind or thoughts, we are unable to control. And we feel that it is so powerful, it is so active, it is so sentient, it is very difficult for us to control. We all feel that. But now Advaita Vedanta or this Drik Drishya Viveka scripture text is telling that, my goodness, your understanding is wrong. They are insentient in nature. They are not sentient at all. Then how do they act? So the author is telling, because of the proximity of the self, because of the proximity of the Chaitanya. Just like when we switch on the light, immediately the whole house gets light. And we are able to see sofa, I'm able to see my photo, or I'm able to see some table, chair, all these things. Because of what? Because of light. If light is not there, then nothing could be seen in the darkness. So similarly, because of the Sakshi, the mind has got the energy, mind has got the power, mind has got the strength or life, and that's why mind started working. So the energy belongs to self, not the mind. So how the mind is working, we are able to understand here. And now he starts explaining that in deep sleep state, what happens? Body is under rest, senses are under rest, mind is also under rest. Mind is passive, but it is not that mind is completely blank. We don't accept. If it was, then would not have got the knowledge of the sleep. When we get up early morning, we say that, oh, I had a good sleep. Means I had an experience of deep sleep. I had an experience of good sleep. So I have got the knowledge of the experience of the good sleep. That means that knowledge is possible only through vrittis, and the vritti belongs to thoughts, and this thought belongs to mind. That means mind is active, or rather mind is dormant, or mind is passive, but there are maybe 1% or 2% or 10% of the mind is working there also. It is not completely ceases to exist, it is completely arrested, we don't say. Why? Because the blankness we experience. I didn't see anything. I didn't know anything. So I'm experiencing the blankness. I am experiencing the nothingness. I am experiencing the unknown thing. That itself is a gnana. That itself is called experiential knowledge. That means mind exists. Absence of experience is also an experience. Now, the second dream state, what happens? Here, mind is partially active. So thoughts are generated from the past experience during the waking state, either today or yesterday, or in this life or in the previous lives. Then, based on my samskaras, tendencies, based on my vasanas, desires, mind takes different forms and it experiences good, bad, right, wrong, pleasurable, unpleasurable, all these things. So again, the whole world and its objects were the projection of the mind. Mind projected the world, and mind experienced the world and its objects and people or whatever. So that means their body is at rest, senses are at rest, mind is active partially, and mind is experiencing everything. It is creating the world, it is creating people, it is creating things, and it is experiencing it. Now, in waking state, what happens actually? In the mind, the thoughts go through sense organs and it lights the things and it captures the image, and through sense organs and it brings and it gives that image to the mind. Mind, it processes the information and it gives the knowledge that, okay, this is an apple, this is the rose, this is fire. This is that particular John, whomever I met few days before. All this knowledge I am getting through my thought process. That we all know that. And how to understand that? The author gives a beautiful example that a beam of a light. You just, for example, a flashlight or a light, a tube light even for example, or CFL bulb, just you put it on in the house. Immediately what happens? You are able to see things, many things simultaneously. How? Because when the flashlight gets on or CFL light gets on, the light beams are falling on objects, different objects, and because of that, due to that, we are able to perceive the objects. So the mind is nothing but the CFL bulb and the beam lights the beam of the light which comes and touches the, shines the object and which we are able to perceive, that is called thought. So how the perception happens, the author is trying to tell here. Means the external world and its objects are perceiving by mind, or specifically by thoughts or by vrittis. So my mind is responsible to perceive the world, to experience the world and its objects. Fine. That means as my mind, so I perceive the world. Similarly, just like my dream and your dream is different, because my desires and your desires are different. My tendencies and your tendencies are different. Fine. So similarly, that means even the experience of the external world is also different. This is very, very important. So the world is even the subjective. So-called we say the objective world, but still the experiencing of the objective world is also very subjective. Just for an example, I gave Mysore Pak for all the, whoever the participants are there, for all of you, I give Mysore Pak. I distribute. And I say, please, consume it, eat it. You ate. And I start asking you, how was the Mysore Pak? Someone said, good. Someone said, so beautiful. Someone said, okay. Someone said, no, Swami, because I don't like Mysore Pak. Or among them, at least for argument's sake, among all of you, 4 or 5 told, oh, it was excellent. It was so delicious. Now I ask you, kindly can you explain what do you mean by the delicious? Everyone's answer, everyone's experience, everyone's understanding the deliciousness, it is totally different. But we don't understand this. We take it for granted. The world, whatever we are feeling, whatever we are experiencing, it is same for everyone. But actually, it is not so. Means no mind, no experience of the world, no vrittis, no experience of the world. So why we are experiencing this world and its objects are the duality because of my mind alone. If there is no mind, I can't experience the duality. So this is one of the important, wonderful point which we can understand. Then the question may come for all of us. That means the knower of the Brahman, the realized people, do they experience the dual world, duality, just like we experience more or less? If you ask, we say yes. Why? Because they also have got a mind. Since they have got a mind, they do experience the world and its duality, but only the difference is, for us, this world is real, for them, the world is unreal, our world is appearance. Now, one careful observation, careful note we should make, everyone. When I say the world is unreal, we don't mean that the world doesn't exist. Asat, non-exist or doesn't exist. No, when we say unreal, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So this is very important point which we have to understand. Many people confuse. And I will give one more example, you will be able to understand. For an example, you bought a furniture. You are the lover of teakwood. So you built a new house, so you wanted all teakwood furniture, fine. You bought the teakwood table, teakwood chairs, teakwood dining table, teakwood dressing table, in teakwood almaras, fine. There is almara made up of teakwood, chairs are made up of teakwood, tables are made up of teakwood, the dressing table is made up of teakwood. So 4 or 5 objects you have got in your house, all are made up of teakwood. Now my question will be, all of them are same or different? Generally, most of us, we say that they are different. Why? Because one is table, the other is chair, one is dressing table, the other is almara. See, the names themselves suggest that they are different names. And they are different functions they have got. And they have got different shapes. Yes, names are different, forms or shapes are different, and their functionality is different. So they are different. I say, fine. Now, all of them are made from what? All of them are made up of teakwood. The only one substance which is called teakwood, from that all these substances are made up of. Then how can you say that they are different? Swami, because there are so many different things are there, they're all different. Then I say, okay, remove the teakwood. For argument's sake, remove the teakwood from all these substance, then what exists? Nothing exists. Everything ceases to exist. That means teakwood is appearing as table, teakwood is appearing as chair, teakwood is appearing as almara, teakwood is appearing as a dressing table or whatever. So because of particular shape, you have got a particular name, particular function, all these things fine. But only teakwood is appearing as all these things, but actually teakwood alone is true. So the name and form is an appearance, the subject or the content is the only true. So I think Brodhanaka Upanishad says, Vacharambano vikaro namadiyam mritika sevasat. So this is what. That means just like my dream world, internal world is my own creation, even this external world is also my own creation. That's the reason. For example, 5 of us or 10 of us, we are working in an office, same office. All the 10 we have got only one manager. But if someone asks us, 10 people, our experience, our perception, our explanation regarding the manager is different. There's only one manager and all 10 people's experience and perceptions, it differ. Means I am not seeing the manager as he is. I am seeing the manager plus with my thinking, with my perceptions, with my ideas, with my experiences. So the mind is colored by my desires, my perceptions, my judgments, and plus I am seeing the person. So I am not seeing the world objectively, I am seeing the world subjectively. That's why people say that you should be less judgmental. Immediately we keep on making comments and we decide he is right, she is wrong, it is right, it is not right, it is wrong, etc., etc. We are too judgmental. That means we are too subjective, which is limited because our mind is colored with so many dualities, with my own limitations, with all my misconceptions, a wrong understanding, right understanding, all these things. So here, the author is trying to tell this whole waking world is also so-called, it is also subjective, and rather it is just like a long dream or big dream. So this is a very important thing which is that. So when I experience the world, I do not see as it is. Instead, I am seeing the world plus my mind, with my colored mind. For example, I wear a glass which is a thin layer of green color is there. Then the whole world looks green for me. Similarly, red color tainted glass, the world looks red. If it's a yellow color tainted glass, the world looks yellow. Means why there's a purification of the mind is required. Why there's so much spiritual sadhana has been told. Why ethics, morality, and why the purification of the mind. All these things are told. Why? Because that is the mere basic instrument through which we observe the world, we see people, we perceive the world. If there's a problem in instrument, then we don't see things properly. That's all our sadhana is what? To cleaning this mind. Once the mind is cleansed, then we see things as it is. This is what the difference between a common person and the knower of the Brahman or the spiritually advanced people. So that means thoughts are responsible for our words, for the experience of the world. If you take care of the thoughts, if you take care of your mind, so-called instrument, then what happens? Then you will be able to free yourself. So what is moksha? Means it is reducing the subjective world into the converting your subjective world into the objective world by the elimination of the ahankara and mamakara. That is called moksha. My mind is subjective with the subjective ideas, desires, opinions, perceptions, with the tendencies, samskaras, vasanas. Once you start cleaning them, all of them, dirt and whatever the limitation, then what happens? You start seeing things as it is objectively. So all my struggle is what? Reduce the subjective world and increase the objective world, so-called. How it is possible? By cleaning the mind, by removing the ignorance, by removing the misconceptions, by removing the pride and prejudice, or by removing the ahankara and mamakara, that is I-ness and minus. The moment you reduce this, destroy it or reduce it, then you are more free person. The whole Kurukshetra war happened. Why? Because of this I-ness and minus. Dhritarashtra wanted that I want to be king always, and my son only want to be prince. Fine, there is no mistake in that. Because of that I-ness and minus, what happened? Kurukshetra war happened. Then the real nature of the antakarna, that is mind, has been described in the 12th verse. Mano ahankruti upadanam lingamekam jadatmakam avastatrayam anveti dayate mriyate tatha. The subtle body, which is the material cause of the mind, and egoism is one and the nature of insentiency. It moves in the 3 states of experience and born and it dies. So now mind has got 2 parts. We all know that one is substance part, the other is thought part, which has been discussed already. And the mind is what? Part of subtle body. The subtle body consists of what? 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, 5 pranas, manas and buddhi. So that means subtle body is inert in itself. Subtle body is also a product of matter. That means mind is also part of subtle body. That means mind is also product of matter. Then what happens? After death, this subtle body travels from one body to another. It travels, it takes new body, then it lives in that particular body till death. Then after death, again it travels. So the subtle body keeps on traveling. So the mind is a receptacle of all the tendencies accumulated in the present life and also in the past lives. Now, and author is making one important technical point, that he's saying that mind exists in all these 3 states of experience. Mind exists during waking state, during dream state, and during deep sleep state also. So that is what author is trying to tell, which we have to understand. And also, seer number 3, the Sakshi is all pervading and it is free from birth and death, whereas this mind, so-called the subtle body, it has got death also. Death means what? Once a person who realizes his nature, then when prarabdha karma gets exhausted, when he dies, then the subtle body gets merged in the causal body and the causal body merges in the self. That's how it will have its end. Now, the underlying argument from the author is, we have to shift ourselves from seer number 1 and 2 and understand that we are not seer number 1, neither seer 1 or seer 2, rather we are seer 3. What is that seer 3? Sakshi or Chaitanya or Atman. We are not this body and mind, we are the self. So all this struggle, all these technical explanations author is giving, why? To make us understand that. So please don't get confused. Please don't get prejudiced that I am body, I am mind, I am thoughts or emotions. You are the self, you are the seer, you are the eternal witness, you are the consciousness. To make us understand all this intellectual gymnasium is telling. Now, why does he explain all these things? Because I am Sakshi, we are saying that my mind is so strong. I have got so many powerful thoughts, powerful perceptions I have got a good understanding, which is a functional aspect of my mind and thoughts. Because of that, we understand so many things. Then what about that? How can we say that only self is true? Self alone is true. Why not all these things? So such type of questions can come to someone else, if not me. So keeping possible questions which can come in the sadhaka's mind or in a spiritual aspirant's mind. So the scriptures try to discuss all these questions so that all these questions can be removed, will be removed, and establishing the truth that I am the self, which is free from all these limiting adjuncts, and that is pure awareness. Now from the 13th verse, he will take a beautiful new idea. What is the cause of this universe? why this universe is perceived in this particular fashion, how this universe has been projected, or how universe has been created. So the nature of the universe and how it has been created or projected will be taken in the 13th verse onwards, which is a new idea. So with God's grace, we shall try to discuss in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Swamiji?
Yeah.
Swamiji, when you say we have to identify with year 3, my understanding is one is first is the intellectual understanding, being conscious of that, or deliberately trying to identify myself with that, or just observe what the mind is doing, or every action we be like a sakshi. Other than this, it doesn't have anything in its implications at this stage for us.
Yes. See, when you start thinking that you are seer number 3, which is called Sakshi or Chaitanya, or so okay, your mind is acting, minding is acting, or minding is doing its work, and you are taking the role of witness. Both are one and the same. The moment when you start thinking that you are the witness, Sakshi, and you start observing your body and mind, then you are identifying yourself with your real nature, that is called Sakshi. Both are one and the same. Now, I will give my own example, which probably can give you which can help you probably. When I was in training center in Calcutta, once I had got a fever. It was very high fever for first week in the monastery. One Swamiji who was a doctor, he gave normal, whatever, paracetamol and other things. Day by day, it was 100 or 101, then 2, then it went for 103, 104. And in the last 2-3 days, it was so much like, the other brahmacharis, they were, making a fun of me. If we keep a potato on your body, potato gets easily roasted, we can eat easily. So much fever I had, and as a result, my body became very weak. Then the Swamiji said, no, it is better we should take for hospital. Then we have got our own hospital there, Seva Pratishthan called. So I was taken to hospital. Then they took a few days, 3-4 days to do multiple experiments, medical tests, and they wanted to diagnose what is the exact cause for this. And it took for 3-4 days. But by this time, because of continuous fever, high fever, I became very fragile, very weak actually. So much so that 20 meters from my bed, I have got a 20 to 30 meters distance, the bathroom and the kitchen. Even to go there, I used to do 3 sittings. At a stretch, I was unable to go. So much weakness had come that time. Then now what else I have to do? Always lying. Difficult I'm getting up, and when they bring food, I eat and lie. Even I'm not able to walk also. So much weakness. So then my mind was covered with that weakness. What happened? Whether will I there or will I die before sannyas or before Atma Gnana? I am dying. What is this? Such type of a common humanistic doubts and concern or worry started. It went for some time. I don't say no, 5 or 10, 15 minutes or whatever. Then immediately, the other part of the mind started thinking. It started thinking about Sthita Prajna Lakshana of Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Since I have beheaded Gita, then all the shlokas one by one started coming. Sthita Prajna Vasha Samadhistasya Keshava Siddhi Kim Prabhashita Kim Asita Vrajite Kim, like that, one by one. And overall running meaning I know since. So that meaning one by one started crossing in front of my mind. That gave me such a tremendous strength, tremendous positivity. My body might have become weak. I might not be able to get up. I might not be able to go and get even water, a glass of water. But I was peaceful. I was calm. I was serene. Okay, this body has got some problem. It has got so-called fever or some, either it's a fungal infection or bacterial infection or viral infection or whatever. Okay, they are trying to make some test or diagnosis. They will give some tablets and I have to take it. And it will take its own course, fine. But I am happy. So even see, just a mere understanding that I am the self. And if you get little conviction that I am the self, this will enable us to cross over or carry and handle so many problems, so many, adverse circumstances in the life. This is one point. The second is, I think even same Turiyanji's example I was giving, when Swami Sri Ramakrishna said, when he had a cancer, throat cancer, look, because of throat cancer, I'm suffering. When Sri Ramakrishna said, Swami Turiyanji said, are you suffering or is your body suffering? Sri Ramakrishna laughs and he says, oh, Sala. A rough translation is like this. Oh, this rascal has found out the truth. See, so his body has been suffering from throat cancer, where he was even little liquid food he was unable to, consume. Even at that time, this whole body was, reduced into just a bone and the skin. But Sri Ramakrishna was never morose. Even the people who lived with him during that time, they said, we never saw him unhappy. We never saw him morose. Even though his body was suffering, he was always active, he was always conscious, and there was an aura of light or the blessedness and etc. was there on his face. How is it possible? Because he had that conviction. Apart from experience, even he had a conviction that he is a self, not this body and mind. So either in the professional life or in the personal life or in the family life, we have to face so many things. So what is the strength for us to bear all these things? Some people, they take some like by watching movies or by internet surfacing and by social media or by picnic, going recreations, they try to forget the sufferings. Some, if there are some intellectuals, they start reading some books, they start thinking some intellectual discussions, and that's how they try to avoid it and as a shock observer. The real shock observer is what? The moment when I understand who am I? Or even understanding, other than experiencing, if you have got that firm conviction, even you might not have experienced, if you have got a firm conviction that I am that self, not this body and mind, that will enable you, that will act as a great shock observer to bear so many shocks, so many problems, and you'll be able to, progress. You'll be able to go forward in your life. Yes, Rakal, I've answered. Did I answer your question completely?
Yes, Swamiji. I think my main question was on even the knowledge and thinking or identifying ourselves with as what, that itself is helpful for now. Swamiji, if others don't have question, another question I'll just ask. When you talk about subtle body, Swamiji, has it come across through as a logical point, or is it a different methodology that they have evolved into understanding prana, the subtle body? And another thing I heard was, Swamiji, in the deep state, deep sleep, you were speaking about prana in the other, somewhere else I heard, rather than mind. So I was a little not sure about how to understand that, Swamiji. Whether you said the mind is slightly dormant, the 10% is probably there in deep sleep, but in another place I heard it's like prana. So how do I, whether it is prana there, I'm not sure. I got a little confused there.
Okay. So in deep sleep, what happens? Your body, physical body is resting. Okay. Your sense organs are also resting. Of course, your prana is working there, no doubt. Prana is working all the three states. So generally we don't discuss about prana, because otherwise if prana is not working, then you don't leave, you can't leave. Because even like mechanical action like breathing is going on, isn't it? Because of the prana only. And your digestion is going on even when you are sleeping. That means again the prana is involved there. So your food is getting digested and the energy has been sucked, and the waste part of the food has been sent to the bigger intestine, large intestine and small intestine. All this process happening because of the prana. So prana exists in the deep sleep also, no doubt. Now, what about the mind? In generally, people say that even the mind takes rest and mind doesn't exist in the deep sleep, they say. But Advaita Vedanta says that mind is really passive then, no doubt, but it cannot say that completely it is absent. Why? Because the argument they give is, the logic they give is, if it is completely absent, if the mind is completely in rest, it is not doing any work, it is not functioning at all, because we have got the experience of the sleep, deep sleep. How is it possible? Any knowledge we get in this mundane world or this experience, it is through only the mind or through vrittis, through thoughts. These vrittis or thoughts are part of the mind. So because I have got the experience that I have got I had a deep sleep, who did get that experience? My mind, because that is nothing but I got the knowledge of my deep sleep. How did I get that knowledge? Through thoughts only I can get the knowledge. That means the vrittis were active. That means mind, maybe 1% or 2% or 5% or 10% of the mind was active. That's why I have got the deep, I got the knowledge of my deep sleep. That is called sushupti. That's the one thing. And what was your one more question? It was Sukshma Sharira. Now, whether Sukshma Sharira, whether it was an intellectual understanding, or it is a philosophy, or it is an hypothesis. No. Of course, it is a part of philosophy, no doubt, but it is not an hypothesis. Rather, it is a point of perception. It is a matter of perception. Now, you say, how do we understand? Because I am able to perceive the external world. I am able to perceive my physical body, but I am not able to perceive my subtle body. How can I say that? Or how can I accept it? Yes, no doubt. There are some yogic practices, yoga sadhanas, which is discussed in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and there are so many other things. So by practicing that, when you evolve mentally, yourself will be able to perceive your own subtle bodies, and also you can perceive other people's subtle bodies. So it is not just mere hypothesis, it is not mere arguments or intellectual views, it is a matter of experience. Now the rishis, whose mind was elevated to the highest level, where they experienced all these things, based on their experience, they explained. So based on their experiences, all these philosophies have come into picture. So the subtle body is not the matter of hypothesis or just mere speculation. It is a matter of experience. But for us, as a common people, we may not be able to experience, but we can infer. Just for an example, why I think in one of my previous class, I was telling that why only few people are interested in Vedanta. Why not all? Why only you? Because of your nature, because of your character, because of your personality. How did it get formed? It didn't form in one day, or in 1 week, or in 1 year. It started doing in so many lives, not only in this life, even your earlier lives also, it supports, or it is cause, it is reason. Because of that, today you have got interested in Vedanta or in spirituality. Now, all that, whatever previous lives you have done, you have worked, you have thought, all this residue, impressions, where it has been stored? It has been stored in your subtle body. Even today, science is also accepting that if we analyze DNA, we can find out what is his nature and what is the things are storing in him and what are the lives he has been taken. All these things we can tell. That's what the present day, even science, empirical science is telling. So even yoga, Patanjali Yoga, 2,500 years before they told, by doing particular sadhanas, you can understand what all the lives you have taken till now. And if you see Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells very clearly to Arjuna that I have taken so many lives, you have taken so many lives, but I am aware of it, but you are not aware of it. So the rebirth, reincarnation, rebirth is a wonderful example for all of us to understand that we have got subtle body. Yeah.
Swamiji, you've got time?
Yeah, I have got time. I don't know about others.
One small question, if possible.
Yeah.
See, we say that the world is a projection of the mind.
Mhm.
So whatever I'm seeing, it is what my mind is projecting. But
Yes.
there is, suppose you take Mysore Ashram. I'm seeing Mysore Ashram as it is. When you come there at the same point, you will also see the same projection. Or somebody else comes there, everybody sees it as the same ashram. But then it has to be my projection only. Each one will, everyone will be getting the same projection.
How do you know that? However, you are perceiving Mysore Ashrama, Mysore Ramakrishna Ashrama in the similar way, same way I am perceiving. How do you know that?
Okay, I'm seeing a pink color. You are seeing the pink color. Everybody is seeing the pink color.
Yes, fine. Yes, that's what I will take up this in the next class. It definitely will come. So here it is called Ishvara Srushti and Jiva Srushti. The first projection has been done by Ishvara according to the Vedanta. Okay. So the Ishvara has projected the universe. Since the cosmic self has projected this universe, so there is a common understanding, common experience with many of us. As you said, for example, the ashrama, or say, for example, a temple. Temple has the temple structure, if you say it is rectangle in shape. Now, when you see the temple, you also feel that it is rectangle in shape. Myself, I will also understand that it is rectangle in shape. Or whoever sees people, more or less, everyone sees that it is a rectangle in shape. In that sense, it is objective, no doubt. But my views, my perception, my own perceptions, it would have been like this, it would have been like that. It is nice, it is okay, it is not good. All these judgments which we get it, that is subjective. So there are few things which are very common to every human being only. That is why, because the Ishvara has projected this universe, and more than that, because we are all Homo sapiens, that's why our understanding is like that. For example, if you bring a dog, and dog also sees that building, the temple, but its perception, its understanding is totally different. Why? Because the nature of the mind and because of the sense organs, all the 5 sense organs are not active, probably in the dog. That's why its perception is totally different. That means my perception of the temple as a temple, whatever it's called, rectangle in shape and all, because of my 5 sense organs, which has given by the nature. However, I get the knowledge, but these 5 sense organs and mind, all of us, it is also limiting our understanding of an object or of the world. That is also very, very important. It is a very subtle point which we have to think little. We all get the knowledge from our 5 sense organs of knowledge and mind, no doubt. Thank God, it is wonderful. But at the same time, it is also limiting our understanding and perception of the world or perceiving the world in the particular framework. Because we are all Homo sapiens, because there is a common phenomena in all of us, that's why we see the world as it is, just like pink color or the shapes, forms, and few things.
That is, we have got the same thinking also.
Same thinking in the sense, it is very,
because
for example, I'll give one more example. Now, red rose. You will also see the red rose. I will also see the red rose, no doubt. But red rose is nice or good. Red rose is not good. Red rose is good. It depends on person. You like red rose, it is good for you. I don't like red rose. I feel okay. Okay, what is there? But someone doesn't like red color. Oh, no, red is red resembles, symbolize danger. So red rose is not good. Now, it is good or it is neutral or it is bad or it is not good. All the 3 doesn't exist in the red rose. It is all about our perceptions. Now, as a red rose I'm seeing, it depends on, there's a commonality in all the 3 people's observation of the red rose. That is because of the organism, because of we are all Homo sapiens. So some, you say, common characteristics we can see in the human beings, no doubt, yes.
That is, we are connected to the cosmic mind. That is why we see it the same.
Yeah, one is, we can say, cosmic mind. The other is, because I said, because of the organism, because of the biological species.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.